Well, here we are again having a look at the garden, and as you can see, it is a beautiful day today. We are a little chilly. The weather has definitely turned into autumn. We are just a few days away from the autumn solstice, and that's officially autumn. We've got 64 degrees or 18 degrees Celsius today, so definitely chilly. And we have a lot of jobs to do in the garden to tidy things up. So many jobs to get the beds ready for winter. So let's have a look at the strawberries. They have done exceptionally well this season. I think one of the winter jobs is to repot some of these older ones that are in the white baskets. They are now 2-year-old plants. Not exactly sure how long strawberries last, how many seasons that they give out fruit, but the last year's plants that have just done their first season of fruit, the rest of them down here, have still got strawberries on. I'm still picking strawberries off, would you believe? And these girls here, every time they see me near the strawberries, they come out to say hi because they're particularly keen on all the wonky strawberries. So we've got lots of work there just to tidy up the strawberries, but that can wait. We have the thornless blackberry here, which has finished fruiting, and it has just exploded everywhere. I have to figure out what to do to let this just be a little bit more contained so I can get to the fruit. It's been a godsend that it's thornless, because you look closely at the branch, there's absolutely no thorns, so you can get in there and get the fruit off without getting yourself all scratched to pieces. We had some peppers, some capsicums, oops, one's just fallen off, which haven't done particularly well because I was supposed to get to them and repot them, but that didn't happen, so they've just had their own world to deal with, and we'll see how things go. This one has, this is more of a raspberry, but it's not done particularly well. We'll see what we've got over here. We've got some more raspberry over here, which is exploding away from where it's supposed to be. And again, that one didn't do particularly well, so we'll just see how we go. But as you can see, this blackberry is just everywhere. It's got its, I don't know, it's trailing out where it wants to go. I'm not sure what we're going to do to contain that into a more manageable space going forward. One of the things that I wanted to do, and I've been reasonably pleased, was actually plant cucumbers into these baths and let them drape over the side, which is exactly what they've done. We had a little bit of a late start on these cucumbers, but they've actually produced really well. We've got one hiding down there, you can see, and on this other plant round here we've got lots of little cucumbers still coming. We've got a couple down there hiding out, and we've got, I've lost count, there is quite a few cucumbers still ready to give us cucumber. And as you can see, they've trailed all over the edge here. We've got a couple of cucumbers there, that's 3 or 4. So we'll see how they do, because as I say, we are moving into colder weather now, and yeah, there's not much time left to finish off the growing. One of the things that I'm going to do this time is just compost down into the bed. So this was a whole heap of lettuce plants that I started to compost down, and we'll see how that goes. I'll report back on how that goes. We have so many green tomatoes. We've had a lot of rain just recently, so a lot of them have got this kind of splitting going on, but they're still perfectly edible. And although I planted only 5 of these yellow cherry tomatoes, they have been so abundant. But as you can see, some of them split, and I think that's just the excess rain that we've had recently. So everything's looking a bit of a jungle in there. I did leave this cauliflower in the ground, as you can see when I took the cauliflower off, and I've let the cabbage whites just do their own thing on it. Oh, and the slugs and the snails, and you can see them there. So it's been quite useful in that I've got what I want off it, and then these guys are also getting fed, although I don't really like them too much. We'll move them along. And in the shade house, we can see what's happening. going forward, because it's time to start planting the winter vegetables, and that's what we've got going on in here. So I have to come in here shortly and just repot these. So I've used these small cups. So this is broccoli, and we've got 3 plants going in there, and they're all starting to look pretty good. I did drop them as I put them in here, so I just picked up the soil and planted them. That was supposed to be beetroot, and as you can see, there is a broccoli that went back in there. So it might be the cauliflower. I'm very good at getting my labellings all mixed up. Never mind, we're going to do better this season on labelling. So we've got some Savoy cabbage coming along. We've got broccoli for the winter vegetables, and beetroots. I think I need to plant some more beetroot there. There's not enough beetroot for our family. So these have been in for a couple of weeks now, and it's time to get another batch of them going. I am thinking about growing something in this little shade house over the winter. So that's the new season or winter season plants coming on. So we have a little bit of a jungle going on here. We'll go quickly past that. One can't get all the jobs done. So we had a bit of a disaster in this space. All the tomatoes fell over, but nevertheless I'm harvesting them as they are lying on the ground, and we need to think of a new system for next year. So we've got lots of tomatoes coming through. I'll come and harvest those shortly. So this side of the tomato plants, it's been such, like they've got, the way that our garden is situated, the wind comes right up that hill there and straight across into my tomatoes. You can see them all lining over the other way. So we'll just do what we can do. You can't do everything when you're working full time. You have to just do what you can do. And as you can see, there is still absolutely loads of tomatoes on here. Not quite sure how many of them will ripen. And I really enjoy planting this basil. It smells lovely as you're walking past in amongst the tomatoes. It's great. So that was a good thing to do, was to plant that basil in there. And we've got another Roma plant going on here. Beautiful Roma tomatoes coming off. Again, that one's not quite as beautiful. It's been split. But yeah, we've got lots of harvesting still to do, and again we're a little bit waiting for what the weather's going to do to see how many of these will ripen up. I did try and lift some of the tomatoes up in this area, and with a little success. So we've got these guys that got off the ground, and it was just like, yeah, it's a work in progress to figure out the best way to deal with that. So over here we had the corn and the butternut squash, and we're just waiting for the last of the butternut squash to just finish off. I think we've probably got 5 or 6 squash plants still here. And again, this is an example of what I'm going to do. I'm going to compost, rather than just throwing this into the compost pile. This is all the corn stakes. I'm going to compost them down in the bed. And we'll just try that and see what happens. I'll put some more hay straw on top, and then at the beginning of the growing season I'll put some more compost medium on as well. So that's what's happening over there. And these are the yellow tomatoes. There's 4 plants in here. They have been super prolific. As you can see, I've got lots to harvest in there. Over here, this was where the sunflowers were. We've got a little bit, I've got other things growing, so I've left them, because as I pull out the roots it disturbs everything else, so I'll just leave them for a bit longer, but I will compost these down into the bed. This was, I left the Brussels sprouts in, and this is regrowth from the Brussels sprouts, and again we just leave for the insects to eat. We'll see how we go. So everything is looking a little bit shambolic, but I think that's part of the process, for nature just to sometimes do its thing rather than being too forced. And this is the yellow courgettes. We've got a few that's coming, but you can see it started way over there in the bed, and it's come right out of the bed, and it's now in the path, but we'll leave it to do its thing. Over here we've got the pumpkin on the trellis, and it's just about ready, I think, to finish off. These pumpkins can come down. It's just another job to do, and again we'll take the trellis down and I'll compost all that pumpkin leaves into the ground. Here we had the watermelons. We've harvested the watermelons. I think I've got 2. Not sure how much further they'll grow, but we'll just leave them and see what they do. The pumpkin kind of tried to explode into the paddock there. So we've got quite a bit of tidying up work to do at this time in the garden. And you see, I use these sacks over here. What used to wash the fleeces in with it when we had the alpaca mill, and they've made great hammocks for the pumpkins. So there, I've got a pumpkin in there, and I've got one there, one over there, and one that I didn't put a hammock on around the back. So we got 5 pumpkins on here. One of them didn't make it. So probably, I think that's just off one plant, so it's not too bad, I suppose. We'll have a quick look around the rest of the plot, because we've started to harvest the kumara, which was so far has been a little bit disappointing, but my hens are very happy that I've dug up the soil a bit for them. As you can see, once we get over there, they've come out to check with their chicks. So we've got 3 hens there raising 1 chick. She's going to be a really sport chick. I hope it's a female. So over here I've pulled up some kumara, and I've got more to pull up. It's quite hard to dig up the kumara. You've got to actually get right in and dig into the dirt. So it's looking like another job to do. We've got pumpkins in here. I've pulled most of them out, but we've got a few still in here. So there's one there, there's 2 over there. There's some that I think will probably not make it, like this one. And there's one here, great big thistle there. And there's one down there. So those are the pumpkins to finish off. This plant is yam, and they need to stay in the ground a bit longer. Probably be June before I actually pull those out. And underneath all the timothy grass we have some more kumara. So that is what's happening over here. It's kind of like things are still growing, but they're going to run out of growing season. So I think I can see about 5 more pumpkins in here, plus all the ones that we've got on the shelves. So there's the garden, and anybody wants to come and give me some help to do some tidying up, that would be more than welcome. But we have to sort out all these beds and put the garden to bed. Join us next time.